What's up, everybody, and welcome to Pizza and Pixels, a show where JP and I order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, aka HexxeedPhenom, aka the Sony Jabroni, aka I don't know, aka I don't know,
AKA.
But of course, joining me is my co-host, the Abstract Rocker, GP. GP, how you doing, man?
Yo, I'm doing pretty good despite the world, but it's going.
Despite the world, that's a good way to put it.
Despite the world's whole problem, but you know, other than that, had a lot of good food, and we're feeling comatose, but we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, if you will, I just wanted to take a moment to discuss some things. First off, I just wanted to apologize for the lack of uploads, both of the podcast and just pretty much everything on the YouTube channel. Things have been crazy the past month or so with obviously dealing with the pandemic. I got a new job, which I then had to hold off on because I had to get surgery. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, but we're back at it. And also, if you guys didn't know, JP and I also host a conversational podcast called the HPJP Show. We're actually going to be putting that on the back burner here for a little bit until further notice, just because we want to step back and focus on getting one podcast on a good schedule and being able to, keep up with that before we introduce a second podcast. So
Exactly, right?
we're going to focus on Pizza and Pixels, the gaming podcast. And then once we feel like we're comfortable and could handle the burden of a second podcast, then we will reintroduce the HPJP show. But until then, of course, this is Pizza and Pixels. And of course, we're going to talk about some gaming news. So this episode, we are going to talk mainly about, we're going to be comparing the Xbox Series X Games Showcase, which just went down a couple hours ago, versus the PS5 Showcase, which happened in June. But before that, we got two little tidbit news stories to get to first. The first one, Rocket League is going free to play later this summer,
That's good.
leaving Steam for Epic Game Store.
Wow.
This one's from Michael McWhorter over at Polygon. Rocket League, the cars playing soccer multiplayer sensation, is going free to play this summer. Developer Psyonix announced on Tuesday. The game currently costs $19.99. The free-to-play update for Rocket League will be the biggest one yet and will include major changes to the tournament and challenge system, Psyonix said in a news release. It will add cross-platform progression for players, item inventory, rocket pass progression, and competitive rank. The update will also coincide with the game's debut on the Epic Game Store and its removal from Steam. Psyonix said that Steam players will still get updates and will still be able to play the game will still be able to play with those on other platforms. Rocket League is available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One after the change. Rocket League players who have previously played or have played prior to the game's free-to-play update this summer will get the following items. All Rocket League branded DLC released before free-to-play. EST20XX title that displays the year when the player first started playing Rocket League. 200 plus common upgraded to legacy quality. Golden Cosmos boost. Decky Oro wheels, and the Huntress player banner. So basically, if you've played Rocket League before going free to play, you are getting quite a substantial bit of little extras to try to ease that burn. I mean, personally, I only played Rocket League because it was free on PlayStation Plus, like when it first launched. So I already played the game for free, but it's good to see this happening now. And I'm interested to see where Rocket League's going to go. I mean, I haven't played it in a long time, but I
really don't. Yeah, I haven't even cared too much for Rocket League. I think the last time I played it was when we had the, I think it was like was it me versus you? I don't even know. It was from the last Extra Life stream.
Yeah, the Extra Life tournament. I think it was, I want to say it was you and Tyler, maybe? I don't remember. But
Possibly. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I never cared for Rocket League. I just, it's whatever. But at least it's popular. I mean, it's like Fortnite and Warzone at this point, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it's definitely there. my senses are killing me. But we're we're all here. But yeah, Rocket League, I never really, I never really cared too much for it.
I liked it a lot, but once I started to see how good other players were at the game, I was like, oh yeah, I fucking suck at this game. And so, especially now, like, it's getting into it and trying to play online is almost impossible. But I don't know, it's still a fun game, and it's still cool to see that they're still continuing to update it and stuff with, what, 4 or 5 years after release?
I know, it's like at least 5 years, I'd say. It's been around for a while.
Yeah, I think it was either 2015 or 2016. I want to say 2015.
I'm amazed they haven't even made a sequel to it after so long.
And then the next one, which I think is interesting, Ubisoft says it won't raise next-gen game prices for now, in contrast to 2K Games' $69.99 for NBA 2K21. This one's by Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon. Ubisoft will keep its same pricing strategy for its next-generation games coming this fall, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said during an earnings call on Wednesday. Video games released during the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 launch window will remain $59.99, at least for now. This is in contrast to a statement made by NBA 2K21 publisher 2K Games that its next-gen basketball game would cost $69.99, while the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Windows PC, Nintendo Switch, and Google Stadia versions will remain at $59.99. 2K Games
I would like to know.
I have no fucking idea.
I would like to know what they play.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Nah, I was just saying I'd like to know what they're planning on doing, because that just sounds absurd. But yeah.
From the sound of it, it sounds like Ubisoft is planning to raise prices at some point. They're just not doing it right away, which is interesting, I guess. I don't know, man. Like, if they were going to universally increase the prices of games, you would think that it would be like a universal thing right at the launch of the console. So I don't really know. Like, I feel like this generation we might not actually see like a universal price for games. Like, I think it might just be like, depending on the scope of a game, it might be more and it might be less than 60. Which, I mean, we kind of started seeing that towards the end of this generation with like things like Crash Insane Trilogy and CTR Nitro Fueled coming out at 40 because they're remasters, they're remakes, but stuff like that. But then also, you know, of course, indie games, they're always cheaper, like 10, 15 bucks and things like that. So I don't know. See, the thing is like, the main argument for why you would want to see a price increase is to mitigate the need for microtransactions. But we all know in NBA 2K21's case, it is both raising the price of the game, but it's also going to be probably one of the worst examples of microtransactions, as 2K20 and all the other games have shown.
Obvious. I mean, 2K is just known for the microtransactions.
2K20's gameplay trailer is still one of the most memed things to me at this point, because the NBA 2K20 gameplay trailer was literally just, it showed off like the casino slots more than it actually showed basketball. And I was like, is this a fucking basketball game or a casino simulator? And like,
it's like they were counting on it. They're like, yeah, they're gonna gamble the casino.
And it's like, I can almost guarantee that all that stuff is going to carry over and probably be even worse in 2K21.
Oh, I know, right?
But
yeah, that's why. Yeah, no price change is ever gonna change what they did. I mean, let's be real. It's just how it goes, unfortunately. It's just, I just think it's funny how they're like the first producer to actually come out and be like, yeah, $70 games, they're not going to get their money back. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. I mean, I'm not paying $70 for a WWE game, I can tell you that. I don't care if it's the greatest thing ever. $70, that's, I'd rather just ask for that for Christmas or have somebody spend their money on it. I'm surely not spending $70 on that crap.
See, that's the thing, though, is like, the way that Ubisoft worded it as saying for now they're not increasing prices makes me think that eventually 70 will be the norm. But for it to not be universal as soon as the generation starts, it does seem like a weird move to me.
I know, right?
I wonder if maybe Ubisoft is just like thinking to themselves that maybe the improvements to Assassin's Creed Valhalla and whatever the hell the other game they said was it Watch Dogs? I don't know. But whatever that other game is that maybe their theory is that the next gen improvements don't improve it enough to be worth $10 extra than the regular game. I don't know.
I know, right?
But NBA and 2K sure seem to think that the next gen version is worth $10 more, even though, other than graphics, I guarantee it'll have all the same features.
Exactly, right?
I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll continue to cover the whole pricing of next gen games as it goes along, but I don't know. For certain games, like, I wouldn't necessarily mind paying $70. Like, obviously, I would prefer it to stick to $60, but like something like Spider-Man 2 when it comes out, I'll gladly pay $70 for that game. I mean, I technically spent like $400 for Spider-Man PS4 because I got the PlayStation 4 Pro bundle. So, I mean, certain games, I feel like it makes sense, but for NBA 2K21 to be the first example of that is, oof, that's a rough one. That's a rough one.
Yeah, I know, right? Definitely a rough one.
But with that being said, we got those two little bite-sized stories out of the way. So now we're going to hop into the main topic of this episode of Pizza and Pixels, which is going to be us comparing and contrasting and just talking all about the Xbox Games Showcase that just happened earlier today and the PlayStation 5 Games Showcase that happened on June 10th, June 11th. And keep this in mind, this is, of course, our opinions. And granted, I don't think we're necessarily qualified to talk about the Xbox games that much, because we both play PlayStation. But
yeah,
we still want to talk about it.
We're still going to talk about it.
So, if these opinions are not great, if they're shitty opinions, well, it's just our opinions, and we're just going off of, you know...
That's
we're just going off what we know. We're just going off what we know when it comes to Xbox.
Yeah. Just like assholes, everyone has opinions. So, you know, this is our opinion on what's happening. So, there you go. Take it or leave it.
We'll be interested to see what you guys think down in the comments below. Let us know which showcase you thought was better. GP, did you get a chance to see any of the stuff from the Xbox showcase this morning or no?
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening, to be honest with you. I found out immediately during the podcast. So.
All right, so this is all news to JP, but
this is all news to me. So I'm just here for the ride.
I did watch the showcase this morning. The stream I was watching was pretty laggy. I don't know if all of the streams were like that, but it did make it hard to appreciate some of the games. But let's just hop into it. This roundup is done by Matty Myers over at Polygon. Microsoft's Xbox Game Showcase on Thursday ran down a lineup of games coming to the Xbox Series X, the company's next console, scheduled to arrive this holiday season. Unlike its competitors, though, Microsoft has emphasized throughout the run-up to this new console that these games will be playable even if you don't pick up that piece of hardware right away. All of the games announced at this show will be on Xbox Game Pass at launch, and many of them will be released on Xbox One. If you have a decent computer with Windows 10 and a willingness to subscribe to Game Pass, all of these games will be available to you. In Thursday's stream, Microsoft showed off 22 different games that will appear on Xbox consoles, including 10 brand new announcements. Let's run them down. So they opened up with like a 6 to 8 minute demo of Halo Infinite's campaign. Master Chief gets to be the first name on the program at the show, perhaps because he's the star. 343 Industries' crack at the new Halo campaign is set to debut this fall, and the lengthy trailer showed us a bit more of the story and a lot of gameplay. Most importantly, the Chief got to show off his new grappling hook. Halo Infinite, which the studio has described as a spiritual reboot that aims to please both Halo newcomers and old-timers, will be bigger than previous entries in the franchise. Footage of the game shown during Thursday's livestream displayed a map with multiple quest markers on it, suggesting more of an open world than previous Halo games had. But just how big is this world exactly? Is it infinite? We don't know yet, but we do know that Master Chief will get to drive a Warthog over some otherworldly cliffsides, and again, the grappling hook, so that's something. Halo Infinite will be on Xbox Game Pass at launch, and it'll be on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Windows, and it's also now listed on Steam. So,
yeah. I'm not surprised. It's sort of a Halo. Really, not surprised.
Yeah.
That's all they have, practically. But
Well, over the past couple years, they have acquired a bunch of new first-party studios. We see some new games coming out of those studios throughout this presentation, but I mean, there's been a lot of hot takes on Twitter that I've seen about the Halo demo. I don't think I'm qualified to speak on it because I've only played. I played the first 3 missions of Halo Reach, and that was it.
I haven't played much Halo. I had a bunch of wars and friends. I didn't know what the hell was going on, So that's just how that went. But yeah, I don't really have too much experience with Halo. I don't, unfortunately.
I know a lot of people were shitting on the graphics, and the graphics did look weird. I can't tell if it's like the graphics look not bad, but like they don't look next gen in certain places, and I can't tell if it's an art style choice or a like, hey, this is a demo, it's not finished gameplay type thing. I think if it's an art style choice, it looks fine, and it looks like it's trying to harken back to the art style of the original Halo on the original Xbox. But I think people were hoping it would be this like super like graphics powerhouse showcase with all this like realistic bullshit, and it looks kind of not cel shaded exactly, but like kind of more along the lines of something cartoony like that, which I think personally probably fits the Halo world more than trying to make everything look realistic. But I don't know, certain graphical showcases look amazing, like Master Chief's armor and the way that light reflects off of it and everything looks amazing. But then there's other things like close up on enemies' faces that look weird, and I don't know. But overall, I'm sure it's going to please Halo fans. At least hopefully, because I know a lot of Halo fans were not happy about Halo 5. So
I'm just amazed Halo's going on this long. Halo shouldn't have gone on this long, which is why they're where they're at. Personally, I don't know much about Halo, but I can already tell you that after Halo 3, all just went to shit entirely.
I think yeah, I think after 3 and then Reach, I think came after 3. After Reach is when it really went downhill for everyone, or for most people, I would say. Which, yeah, it is kind of surprising that the franchise did continue after 4 and then 5, which were progressively worse from what I've heard. But
yeah,
if this is a return to form for Halo in any way, shape, or form, then I'm sure it's going to please a lot of people. They did mention that they would be doing a different presentation at a later date showing off some of the multiplayer stuff, so that'll be interesting to see. Then we had, the next game was As Dusk Falls. Are these in alphabetical order? I don't remember if this is the order these were shown in. No, this definitely isn't the order they were shown in. Our indie studio Interior Night, headed up by ex-Quantic Dream lead game designer Caroline Marshall, showed off a moody trailer for its debut game about 2 families locked in turmoil. This one looked really cool. It kind of reminds me of like a... It looks like a Telltale game, kind of like that style of game, not the art style, but like the Telltale game in terms of like it's mostly narrative driven. Doesn't seem like there's much gameplay, but it's all about the choices you make and stuff. And the trailer was done in this really cool fashion where it wasn't like full motion. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was basically like pictures of people, but the environment and everything else was moving around them. I don't know, it was really cool. Then we had Avowed. Obsidian Entertainment is brewing up a new first-person fantasy role-playing game, and it's set in the world of Pillars of Eternity. So Obsidian is the people that made Fallout New Vegas, and then since then made The Outer Worlds, which came out last year, or the year before, I think. So it basically kind of just looks like... It looks like it'll be something similar to Skyrim, kind of. I know this one was a big one. Fable. Playground Games debuted a very brief teaser for the next Fable game, which apparently won't have a number in the title. Then we had 14... What was that?
I saw it pop up in my feed a few times. I was confused. I'm like, is it Fable as in Fable 1, or is it Fables in a new Fable. Yeah.
No, it's a new
Yeah,
game. I don't know if it's going to be a reboot or not, or a continuation. I think it's a reboot, but I don't know. It was literally like maybe like a 20-second trailer, so there's not much to go off of.
so there's not much to go off of on it.
But I know that. No, yeah, I know a lot of people love the Fable games. I haven't played one myself, but I remember watching my brother-in-law not play through, like, that I've seen the whole thing, but like I've seen him playing Fable a couple of different times, and I've sat there and watched, and it seems pretty like a pretty interesting game, but again, I haven't played it. The next one, this is this is the one horse I have in this. Forza Motorsport, just like the next Fable, the next Forza Motorsport game won't have a number in the title. Turn 10's similarly brief teaser showed us a few cars and not much else, although Xbox had Phil Spencer that the game will deliver ray tracing and native 4K at 60 frames a second. This one, I mean, the trailer looked good. It looked on par with, in terms of graphics at least, from what we saw from the Gran Turismo 7 trailer on the PS5. My only thing was the Gran Turismo trailer showed like 2 minutes straight up of just gameplay, which this was like a 30-second trailer with no gameplay, which sucks. And the thing that really stings is that the last Forza Motorsport game came out, I believe, 3 years ago. And when they first showed the Forza Motorsport trailer, they're like, oh, this game is very early on in development. And I was like, so we went from releasing a Forza game every year to taking 3 years off, and this new game is early in development. I'm not saying that they should be still releasing them every single year, but it's weird to take such a long time off and then still only be early in development on a new one. I hope that the game is worth that wait. I don't play much of the Forza Motorsport games. I go towards the Forza Horizon games more, but hopefully this is the return to form that people have been hoping for the Forza Motorsport series, because I heard that people didn't like 7 as much as some of the older ones. The next one is called The Gunk. The creators of SteamWorld have a new game in the works. The all-new adventure from Image and Form and Thunderful Publishing will invite players to explore, battle alien enemies, and solve puzzles on a strange planet. This one, from what they showed, it seems like a 3D platformer. It almost seems similar in a vibe to like Luigi's Mansion, where your character has like a vacuum on their arm and they're like sucking up the gunk, which is like these alien enemies and stuff.
Sucking up something. Yep.
It has a really cool art style though. Like, obviously we didn't see much gameplay, so I'm not gonna say, oh, it's just copying Luigi's Mansion. That's just the vibe I got from it. But the art style is really cool.
It's a Luigi's Mansion reboot.
It's Luigi's Mansion. They're copying Nintendo.
Yeah, you coming Nintendo.
Then there was Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. Sega announced that the latest entry in its long-running free-to-play online action role-playing game is coming to Xbox Series X. I don't really know anything about Phantasy Star Online. It looks like your stereotypical, online, like Monster Hunter-esque online MMO type game. Not really my cup of tea. I'm sure there's a lot of people excited for it, though. Stalker 2. This game was first announced as being in development back in 2010, but then it got shelved more than once. In 2018, GSC Game World's Twitter account revealed that the game would exist after all, including the text 2021 to suggest the sequel would finally arrive in 2021. Thursday's Xbox Game Showcase confirmed that this long-awaited follow-up will come to the Xbox Series X. It seemed like a first-person shooter horror type game. It seemed pretty interesting. They didn't show too much of the game. It was just like a cinematic. State of Decay 3, Undead Labs revealed that it's working on another entry in the State of Decay series. I don't really know much about State of Decay, but
I haven't heard too much about it. It's a name I haven't heard in a while, I can tell you that.
Well, State of Decay 1, I don't know when that came out, but I know there was a pretty long wait until State of Decay 2. But State of Decay 2, I think, just came out semi-recently, like 2-ish years ago, maybe?
Yeah, between the Xbox titles, yeah. It kind of branched, but I'm glad before the Xbox Series X, it will probably get an installment, so that's always cool.
Well, State of Decay 2 came out on Xbox One like 2 years ago. I don't think they announced a date for this, but
I remember the first one. Yeah, the second one I do not.
from what I remember, I don't know if it got fixed or not, but I remember hearing when 2 came out that it had a lot of performance issues, and I don't know if that was on the regular Xbox One or the Xbox One X, or maybe both, or maybe just one of them. I don't know. But the trailer looked pretty cool. I mean, it didn't show gameplay, but it was this lady like just walking around the forest with a crossbow, and she came up to this like infected deer that looked all types of fucked up. It looked really cool. We got Tetris Effect Connected. The new version of Tetris Effect by Enhanced Games will include cooperative and multiplayer modes, both local and online. So a new Tetris game in 2020. Can't go wrong with Tetris.
Hey, you can't go wrong with Tetris. All-time classic.
One gripe I have about Tetris is that for some reason they consider it the best-selling game of all time. But there's been a version of Tetris on like every single game console, so I don't really think that counts, but whatever. Then we had Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide. Fat Shark, the studio behind Vermintide, has announced a new Warhammer 40k adventure. This one's a 4-player co-op game. I have no idea what Warhammer 40k is, but I know there are a bunch of dedicated fans to it. So if you're into Warhammer,
so it's whatever.
I literally have no idea what it is, because like
how Warhammer is. So that just kind of sums it up right there.
Well, the thing for me is like I know that it's, I wouldn't say it's like super popular, but I know it has its very dedicated fan base. But the thing is like I swear every time I hear about a new Warhammer 40k game, it's like a completely different time period, and I don't know if that's the point of the game or if I'm just missing something. But I swear like I'll hear something about one and it'll be like set in like medieval times. And then I'll hear something about a new one, and it's set in like 500 years in the future. And like this one is like super like in the future, and I'm like, I have no idea what this game is, but it looked interesting. It looked kind of like another like horror shooter type game, except well, they said it's 4-player co-op, so that'll be interesting. Crossfire X, which this was announced a while ago, but they showed another look at it. The original Crossfire became the most played game by worldwide player count, but at this point it's over a decade old. Smilegate has rebuilt the game in Unreal Engine 4 and will be releasing it with a new campaign made by controlled developer Remedy Entertainment. So, from what I understand, the original Crossfire was basically like a Chinese knockoff, or like an overseas knockoff of Counter-Strike that got like just a crap ton of players overseas because it was free to play. But it's such an interesting thing to me that Microsoft would be like, hey, look at this game that's like 12 years old and at one point had the highest player count of any online game ever. I don't know if that record still stands, but... And they're just like, hey, let's remake it. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. It doesn't scream anything to me. It just kind of looks like your generic first-person shooter. But the graphics look really good. I mean, this isn't like an Xbox franchise. Like, I literally have no idea what to say about it. Like, it's just looks cool. It looks like a generic first-person shooter, but the graphics look awesome. So,
Hey, at least hopefully it works out.
Then they showed a new trailer for Destiny 2 Beyond Light, alongside announcing that the game would be getting an Xbox Series X version that would run at 4K 60. More importantly, the Games Pass subscribers will have all of the game's standard edition expansions, not including seasonal content though. That does include Beyond Light, which is slated for a November release. So if you are an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, you are going to be getting Destiny 2 with all of its expansions, including the new expansion that's coming out in November for free, which is pretty cool.
Hey, nice.
The next game we have is Everwild. Rare is still working on its mysterious game set in a magical wilderness with a Breath of the Wild meets Monster Hunter vibe. This one looked cool. It was very interesting art style, but again, they didn't show gameplay, which kind of sucks. Like, I feel like we only saw gameplay for like 3 games in this trailer or in this like showcase, which stinks. But which, I mean, I can't say that much because we didn't see that much gameplay from games from the PlayStation 1 either. But like,
Right.
for me, unless like a super rare circumstance, I would much rather see like snippets of gameplay than I would want to see like a cinematic CG trailer. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I feel you on that one. Just to get the whole experience.
But I mean, it's rare. They have a back catalog amongst back catalogs of amazing, incredible games. Back to, you know, the Super Nintendo with the Donkey Kong Country games, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Battletoads. The list goes on and on with rare games. They're incredible. So, and most recently, Sea of Thieves. So, I mean, a talented studio working on something exclusively for Microsoft. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be amazing, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, right? Hopefully it's good.
Then we have Grounded. This one is basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the game. And it looks kind of fun, I'm not going to lie. Obsidian Entertainment's co-op survival adventure about exploring a backyard at the size of an ant enters early access on July 28th. The Medium, this one was announced at some other event. I don't remember what it was. But Bloober Team has this dark mystery game in the works for holiday 2020. I'm trying to think. It kind of reminds... I don't know exactly how it works. They were kind of vague on this. I probably could look it up and find it, but I'm not sure. It kind of looked like they were doing like a... What was that game? A Way Out, where like you have to play it split screen with with another person. It kind of seems like that, except...
Like that, right?
It seems like a similar idea, except the person you're playing with isn't with you. They're like in a separate reality. I don't know. It looks really cool though. Then we got an announcement of the Outer Worlds expansion, Peril on Gorgon, which will add a chunk of new content to the Outer Worlds. Then we got Psychonauts 2 gameplay. Double Fine's much-awaited sequel to Psychonauts will feature the vocal and musical stylings of Jack Black, who will sing a song as a brain in a jar. The Xbox Game Showcase featured a long trailer for the game that showed some psychedelic segments. I've never played Psychonauts, but that just sounds fucking fantastic.
So is it a brand new game or a remaster?
This is a new game, Psychonauts 2.
Wow, it's crazy. They're finally doing the second game after so long.
Yeah, because the first one came out on PS2, right?
I believe so. It's been a while, dude. It's been a while.
Because I'm pretty sure they remastered it, remastered the first game somewhat recently. But yeah, Psychonauts 2. Well, I guess this is an Xbox exclusive now. I don't think it was being developed as such at first, but Microsoft owns Double Fine now, so I assume it's an Xbox exclusive. Then we have Don't Nod Entertainment's Tell Me Why. Don't Nod, of Life is Strange fame, is still working on its Xbox Studios exclusive about twins with a supernatural bond. So this basically it's a very similar game style to Life is Strange, just not in the same universe.
Oh, yeah, but with a few other people.
Square Enix had a theatrical action platformer in the works set in the imaginary land called Wonderland, called Balan Wonderworld.
Yep. Wonderworld.
This must be stuff from, this must have been stuff from either the pre-show or the post-show, because I didn't see this. Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, which is the longest title for a game, I think, ever. That's getting an Xbox Series X enhanced version. Echo Generation, Coco Cucumber's turn-based adventure game is aiming for a 2021 release, which, by the way, can I just say that that might be one of the best names for a development studio, Coco Cucumber.
I know, right?
Exomecha, also aiming for a 2021 release. The Twisted Red game is a free-to-play online competitive first-person shooter. And we have Hello Neighbor 2, Eerie Guest Studios is still working on the follow-up to the 2017 survival stealth game. I don't know why they didn't mention it here, but there also was... Oh, okay. Games getting, quote, optimized for the Xbox Series X. With all these games appearing on Game Pass at launch, you might be wondering to yourself, why would I even get an Xbox Series X? If you have a powerful PC, that's a fair question. But if you don't, then this list of games getting, quote, optimized or updated in some way for the Xbox Series X might tempt you. Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Sea of Thieves. So all of those games will be getting some sort of update to be optimized for the Xbox Series X, which is probably just going to be higher resolutions, higher frame rates, stuff like that. I don't think they said if these will be available at launch or later down the line, but still nice to see. I think overall, the Xbox showcase was pretty good. I would have liked to see more stuff from Xbox's actually owned studios, because I feel like there definitely was stuff in there from their own studios. Obviously, 343.
You can definitely tell.
Playground with Fable. Obviously, Forza, all that stuff. But I don't know. I feel like, not that I think that they should announce every single game they're working on, no matter what. But like, I don't know. I feel like. And again, they only, as far as we know, they only acquired some of those studios like a year or two ago. So obviously they're not going to have aren't going to have games ready in time for like the launch window of Series X. But
right.
I mean, in my opinion, I mean, a lot of these games looked awesome, but also a lot of the ones that looked the coolest are not coming until like 2021, or some of them were even dated for 2022, which sucks. But I mean, we did see stuff like that at the PlayStation event too. I don't know. To me, it just, I don't know. To me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the like, oh hey, here's a game and we're like 3 years out from release, so we're gonna keep showing you this game like every opportunity we get. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather just have a game be announced and then be like, hey, it's releasing in like 6 months.
Like, hey, it's coming out. Check the trailer out, and that's it, right?
Well, that was one of, I think, the coolest things about Fallout 4 when it came out, was it got announced at E3, and then it was like, hey, it's coming out in October, or something like that. Yeah. And everybody was, like, fucking mind-blown, because we were so used to seeing games like GTA 5, which got announced in, like, 2011, or 2010, and then released in 2013.
Now, ironically, it's coming out next year on next gen.
It's still coming out again.
This is going to be the third time I buy that fucking game, and I'm going to be like, I mean, it's totally worth it. I mean, GTA 5 is great.
I don't even know if I mean, it depends on what they add to the story mode, if anything. But if it's just like a graphical and frame rate enhancement, then I'm probably just going to play the like free-to-play online version, or whatever.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm kind of thinking about that, but I don't know. GTA 5 is pretty good. I mean, it's just, if I get the trade-in deal, that'd be a totally different scenario. It should be a trade-in deal. Just because if it's the third time I bought this in, I don't know. They're not going to get the money.
To be fair, JP, we are talking about the same parent company that is charging $70 for WWE or NBA 2K21. So I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, they could suck my dick. But still, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like GTA, though, a third time for a game, if it is $70, nobody in their right mind is going to buy that unless they haven't played GTA 5. I mean,
at this point, who hasn't? Because it's sold over like 120 million copies or something insane.
It literally sold about half of America. So I'm pretty sure people have played it. So if they haven't, man, that really sucks, because $70 for that.
Honestly, at this point, if you haven't played GTA 5, then you're probably just not going to play it no matter what.
Yeah, if you haven't played it by now, there's no way. If you haven't played
Especially
it by now,
not for $70. Hell no.
Yeah, there's no way you're playing it. I mean, so many people have played it by now. Like, $70, get the fuck out of here. Maybe some of the noobs that came over from another console would be like, oh yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5. Oh, I always wanted to play that game, but Other than that, I would just opt for the online.
Yeah.
What that's gonna be a free component.
Yeah, they announced that at the PlayStation 5 event. It was
I can see why.
The news was basically that GTA 5 expanded and enhanced, or whatever the hell they're calling it, is coming to PS5 in 2021. They announced the PS Plus players or whatever, PlayStation players will get $1 million a month free every month you log in up until the release of GTA 5 on PS5. And it was that GTA Online will be free to play when it launches, or GTA Online will be free to play when it launches on PS5 as a separate download. Which I don't know if that's going to be permanent or like maybe like a trial thing. I don't know, but I don't know. I can't see. I think they're out of their right mind if they think they're going to be able to charge $70 just for the campaign portion if you can already play online for free.
Yeah, I think they should just be like, yo, trade it in, get the new game for $20. I mean, that's how it was before.
I think if they were just selling the campaign, I think it should be just $20 like default.
Maybe
like 20 or $30.
I'd say 30 would be the max, but
it's
Take-Two,
so
yeah. Like, yeah, why would I pay the same shit for a third generation game? I didn't even pay that for the second generation release game.
And keep in mind, we both love GTA 5. It's just like, how many times can you really make us pay for what's extensively the same game?
Yeah, like, you know, it's cool to make money. Money's good.
It's cool to make money. I want to put that on a shirt. It's cool to make money.
It's cool to make money. It's just, you know, do you really want to, like, fool the intelligence of your clientele? Do you really want to do that? I mean, that's how, like, the WWE was during, like, right when they turned into the Attitude Era. He's like, yeah, I want to insult your intelligence. It's like, well, yeah, I know, right?
To be fair, WWE still insults their watchers' intelligence to this day.
They still insult people's intelligence. I mean, look at that swamp fight from Extreme Rules. That totally summed it up. But
well, to be fair, I didn't even watch it, but the one thing I did like about it, not to get too off topic here, is that they actually did some long-term storytelling with that Alexa Bliss thing, which is so far out of left field for anything WWE ever does. Because normally they insult your intelligence.
Yeah, don't worry. They're probably never going to catch up on that. I'm actually wondering why they even did that with Alexa Bliss being under the mask.
Because I guarantee there's never going to be a follow-up for that, probably.
There's never going to be a follow-up. And, like, everyone's like, Sister Abigail is going to be a whole new... Well, they had this whole theory that it was a certain wrestler from NXT that was going to be in it, and it would have fit perfectly. And, of course, they never did it. They could even use his own sister to be Sister Abigail. They haven't done that. So...
They could even use Bo Dallas as Sister Abigail.
They could even use Bo Dallas as Sister Abigail, and nobody would fucking care, probably. But insulting your clientele's intelligence, you know, it's something you never want to do because you're at the point where you just want to make money. And like I said, making money is cool. I do a lot of that, but it doesn't mean just because you're making money means that, you know, you're actually doing something that's the right moral choice.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I'm gonna charge $70 for a game that's been released 3 times.
But again, to go back to it, we're talking about Take-Two, which is gonna release NBA 2K21 at $70. Like, they have the balls and the just fuck you to do it. Like, they don't care.
Dude, Ronnie 2K should just take a thermometer and shove up his ass and just see what the hell it is. I don't really know what they're doing right now. I'd be like, Ronnie, I think you might have something going on, man. You might want to check your temp. You might want to shove up your ass. You might want to go and see a doctor. You could be like, yeah, you see, sir, I want to charge $70 for a next-gen game, and I want to throw in some microtransactions. And that doctor's going to be like, Ronnie, you can't do that. He's just a boy.
Do that.
He's just a boy. But, yeah. It's the way I see with 2K, dude, WWE 2K is, like, absolutely screwed. I don't care how outlandish Battlegrounds looks. It's just, I don't see that selling. If that's going to be $70 at launch, they got another thing coming.
No, there's no fucking way, dude. No, that's going to be like, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know how much NBA Playgrounds is. I want to say it's like 30 or 40, maybe.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm actually going to look that up. NBA Playgrounds 2. Give me a fucking price.
Give me a fucking prize, boy. Prize. So
can you, like, where, why? Okay, GameStop has it as $15, but I don't know if that's the actual MSRP of the game, or...
No, personally, I wouldn't pay more than $5 for that fucking game, but, you know, it all comes down to figures.
Looks like on the PlayStation Store it's $30. So I assume WWE will be the same thing. Alright, let's get into the PlayStation 5 event. Like I said, I wasn't trying to be too, like... I mean, obviously I'm the Sony jabroni, but I'm honestly not trying to be biased against one or the other. It's just personally, like... The Xbox, what they showed, I'm sure was great for a lot of people. It's just most of those games, I would say, didn't speak to me. Forza, amazing. That game does speak to me, and it looked great. Again, wish that there would have been a little bit more of it. Halo, it speaks to me in the fact that I know what Halo is. Like, I know of it, but I don't know if that looks great, if it looks fucking horrible for a Halo game. I have no idea. But overall, like I said, I think Xbox did a pretty great job, and it's definitely better than, you know, what we saw leading up to the Xbox One launch, which was TV. Get a second job to pay for this thing. Fuck all you people before they switched the fucking.
It might be
switched the DRM
it might
back.
be a pandemic, but you can get a second job to pay for that TV. It just sounds like the dire straits. It's like, yeah, you can just, you know, you play the guitar on the MTV. It's like, you say, I wish I did. That'd be cool. yeah, you know the way it is. You play the guitar on the MTV. But yeah, TV.
Right. So starting off the PlayStation 5 event, one of the biggest fucking things, like literally the biggest, I think the biggest blue ball in recent gaming history.
We got a blue ball going on.
Yeah, because they start the PS5 presentation with the Rockstar logo. And everyone's like, "Oh fuck, it's GTA 6." And then Michael shows up and it's like, "Oh, GTA 5 again."
I wish they would have showed off some actual, like, PS5 footage.
Yeah, because it was all PS4 footage. It's like, if it's releasing in 2021, like, you have to have footage of the game. Like, there's no way that it's...
Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I love GTA 5. It is my favorite Grand Theft Auto. I don't know. On the third installment of it, I'm kind of running...
On the third installment, show me something to get excited about. Like, show me why I should be excited to possibly pay for this game for a third time, instead of just like, oh, we're just telling you that we're doing this and showing you the PS4 version of the game. So here you go. Just like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, like,
good way to start off the PS5 presentation.
I do think that they're gonna totally revamp the whole game from the ground up.
I'm sure they will, but like, show us that.
But show us this.
Yeah.
Just show us, Franco driving down the road, just, whatever. Doing his normal little lickety-split special ability.
And the thing that sucks is, like, not only was it PS4 footage, but, like, it was basically just a recut of, like, the original PS4 trailer. They just spliced in some of the added, like, GTA Online, like, some of the more recent GTA Online stuff at the end. I was like, you couldn't even make a more original trailer? Like, come on, man. I don't know. Again, we love GTA 5, but
we saw something new just to be like, oh yeah,
just to get your palate wet, JP. Just to give you a little taste.
at that point, they might as well be like, "Sir, turn around. I'm gonna stick this thermometer in your ass." Ah, damn! It's like, oh, come on, guys.
That's literally exactly how I felt when the Rockstar Games logo showed up, and then I realized it was GTA 5 again. I was like, yeah, well.
Like, well, I'm just,
All right.
well, I'm a head out. I'm just gonna get up out of my chair and just turn around, and just stick my bosom right to whatever the hell he wants to stick in me. But yeah, it's just, we did get some of those shirts the other day, by the way. The I'm a head out shirt the meme. Yep. Yeah. Pull it out of the box, and I'm like, all right, Sherry, I'm gonna head out.
All right, but that was arguably a really big blue ball to start off the PlayStation presentation. But right after that, they fucking blew their load, JP, let me tell you. PlayStation Studios served up a massive buffet of extraordinary PlayStation 5 reveals. By the way, this is over on the PlayStation blog. This is the PS5 showcase recap, everything you need to know. This is by Sid Schumann. But of course, kicking it off with Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, the next chapter in the acclaimed partnership between the Legendary Studio and Marvel Games that is due out for PS5 this holiday. Insomniac also revealed Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, a galaxy-hopping new PS5 adventure in the fan-favorite Insomniac series. Both of those games look fucking incredible. So fucking excited. My PS5 hard drive is, just for the first couple months, is going to be Spider-Man and just a bunch of Spider-Man screenshots, and that's it. So.
Should really put them on YouTube right on this channel. Just put them right up. Yeah, yo, here's my catalog. Here's like 100 photos. Check it out. Yo, you guys let me know what you'd like. And subscribe for more minutely videos. Our friends at Guerrilla gave us a breathtaking first look at Horizon Forbidden West for PlayStation 5, a gorgeous new adventure set in a distant land ravaged by massive storms, and Polyphony Digital dropped by to unveil Gran Turismo 7 as the real driving simulator prepares for a new generation of PlayStation hardware. And I know you're excited about Demon Souls, a gorgeous PS5 remake from Bluepoint Games in Japan Studio. And, I mean, right there, the way this article is presented is it's just giving you these big hitters right off the bat, and these were the big hitters for this PlayStation event: Spider-Man, Ratchet & Clank, Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and the Demon Souls remake, which are 5 big titles. Like, the only thing they could have announced that would have topped any of those would have been like God of War 2. So, I mean, that's like huge stuff from PlayStation's first-party studios. And I mean, personally, like, I'm not a Soulsborne player, so Demon Souls doesn't speak to me, but I know it speaks to so many people that have loved the Dark Souls games and whatnot. And Demon Souls was actually basically the inception of that game style. So, I know a lot of people are excited to go back to that. Ratchet & Clank, I'm so hyped for. Spider-Man, of course, I'm hyped for. Horizon, I'm hyped for. GT7, I'm hyped for. Like, just bangers across the board, man. A lot of good bangers.
Of course, we have a bunch of other games that were talked about. So let's hop into the indies. So we had Bug Snacks, which I think is probably I think this game has gotten way more attention than the developers ever thought possible since this PS5 reveal. Of course, this is from Young Horses, the people that made Octodad. A whimsical, narrative-driven adventure from the creators of Octodad. Investigate the mysterious Snacktooth Island, home of the legendary half-bug, half-snack creatures. People have been obsessed with this game since it got revealed. Like, people are, like, posting memes on Twitter and all this stuff, and people are just, like, jamming out to, like, the theme song for this trailer and everything. I think this game is probably way bigger than the developers realized when they were making it, but good on them. Like, I'm probably not going to play it. It's not my type of game, but it sure seems like they have something there, so.
Yeah, there you go. At least it's something.
Yeah, definitely. Then we had Goodbye Volcano High from Co-op, a cinematic narrative game that touches on love, friendship, and self-realization in the final days of civilization. I want to say that might be based on some kind of like book or something. I'm not 100% sure. Jet the Far Shore from Super Brothers and Pine Scented, a bittersweet interstellar trip to a mythic oceanic planet in a narrative-driven action-adventure featuring an emotional mix of storytelling and world exploration. We had Kenna Bridge of Spirits from Ember Lab. That one, if I remember correctly, it reminded me of... what's the game I'm thinking of? I can't remember. But I remember it looked really cool. It's a story-driven action-adventure game combining exploration and discovery with fast-paced combat. We had Little Devil Inside from NeoStream Interactive. Set in a Victorian-like era, embark on dangerous missions to gain evidence and findings for your employer, a mysterious professor. We had Oddworld Soulstorm from Oddworld Inhabitants. I know a lot of people were excited about that. A major visual and cinematic leap for the celebrated series with intelligent new gameplay mechanics and twisted new devices to enable explosive deviousness. From Oddworld's Inhabitants, Oddworld's Soulstorm's scope and scale are larger than we have tackled before. We plan to use PS5's stunning graphic fidelity, mind-blowing 3D audio, and the DualSense controller to enhance our storytelling and artistic abilities to bring you closer to the game and to create an even deeper emotional Oddworld experience. Have you played any of the Oddworld games, GP?
I played the first one way back when, like 1990. Buyers had it, so we played around a lot. But I haven't played. I have no desire to continue playing it. But I did see that they started trying to make new Oddworld kind of like games, and it's cool. It's kind of weird because no one really gave a shit about those games. I mean, it was more of a oh hey, did you hear about the Oddworld games? Did you hear about these games? And by the second game, it was like no one even cared about it, and now
I wouldn't say no one cared. It was definitely like a cult following thing. Like it never sold millions of copies, as far as I'm aware. But it was definitely does definitely have its cult following.
Yeah, like it has a cult following, and people treated it like it was a mainstream game. And it's like, dude, no one on the mainstream cares about this game. They never have. That's why when I saw it come back, I was like, why is this back? Like, I mean, I know Medieval got remastered. That's a big if. I don't know why that got remastered. I still have it for free for Christmas that I got it. I still haven't played it. But I did play the original of that too. It's just, they were cool for the time. It's just for people to look back and be like, oh yeah, remember that game? It's kind of like, well, I remember it, but like, why do you remember it? It's just kind of like an underground more thing, like PlayStation Underground kind of stuff really pushed those games. So what, there's a brand new one coming out now, apparently?
Yeah, for PS5.
Wow.
I think a lot of reason that like certain games got such cult followings with PS1 was demo discs. Like just getting a demo disc and being like, oh, let's try out these random games, you know what I mean? I feel like that's one thing that like obviously we'll never see again. But it's such an interesting thing, like back in the 90s, of like magazines with demo discs and PlayStation Underground, and like Pizza Hut had demo discs and stuff.
Yep, those are the days. I kind of wish they keep doing that.
Yeah, I wish they would too, but let's see. So we had The Pathless from Giant Squid and Annapurna. The mythic tale of an archer and an eagle in a vast forest who ventured a mystical island to dispel a curse from darkness. I don't remember that one off the top of my head, what that one was like. Keep in mind, I haven't seen most of these trailers since that event happened over a month ago. We had Stray, which I know a lot of people were excited about this one. This one was from Blue 12 Studios in Annapurna. A little cat in a futuristic walled city, devoid of life, befriends a sentient drone. The cat must find its way home and perhaps help the city along the way. So you're playing as a cat. That's fucking awesome. You're just playing as a fucking normal cat.
And their friends and all that good shit.
Yeah.
Some fun times, right?
And then the last indie title we had from the PlayStation 5 event was Solar Ash from Heart Machine and Annapurna. A journey through a surreal and vivid world filled with mystery, endearing characters, and massive enemy encounters across a vast open world. And of course, we have some third-party games here. We've got, of course, Grand Theft Auto 5, which we went through already. There's a press release from Rockstar. Quote, Grand Theft Auto 5 for PlayStation 5 will feature a range of technical improvements, visual upgrades, and performance enhancements that take a full advantage of the console's powerful new hardware, making the game more beautiful and more responsive than ever. Plus, a new standalone version of Grand Theft Auto Online will also be available free for 3 months exclusively on PS5. So it does sound like that standalone version of GTA Online is either only going to be around for 3 months, or it'll be free for the first 3 months, and then you might have to pay for it separately. I have no idea. Confusing wording. I'm sure we'll learn more at some point, but...
I know, right?
Personally, for me, this might be like a... I know whenever I have this conversation with certain people, they're like, oh, why don't you just play on PC? But I think it's unacceptable at this point for games to not have a 60 frames per second option.
I know, right?
I think most games should just default to 60 FPS, but I know that developers are like, oh, we need to make the graphics look as good as they can, because that's just how I understand it's just how marketing works. Yep. People are like, oh, this game has amazing graphics. People aren't like, oh, this game looks smoother than the other game. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think every game should just have an option at this point. Which they announced recently that Spider-Man Miles Morales will have a 4K 60 FPS option, and I was like, thank you so fucking much.
Right.
Which probably the trade-off for that will be that they won't have ray-traced reflections. Which, I mean, ray-traced reflections are cool, but if I had to choose between ray tracing and 60 FPS, I will choose 60 FPS every single time.
Right.
Maybe like to make some of my photos look better, I might switch over to the regular mode, but I'm probably just gonna play in 60 FPS the whole time. So GTA 5 better have a 60 FPS option, is what I'm saying, or at least I think it should default to 60 FPS. But if it doesn't, it should at least be an option, because
PS5 it should definitely happen 60 frames. I can't see why not. That'd be stupid.
Because I feel like every update that they do to GTA Online now makes the frame rate less stable. And it's like, it started at like a solid 30, and now it's just like, and if you're in a lobby with like any more than like 4 people, the game's frame rate is just like 20 FPS, maybe.
Yeah, so I hope they fix all that shit. They should.
I really hope so, man.
It's a rebuild of GTA 5, so I'm hoping it's really good. I mean, we'll be seeing more of it soon, hopefully. But yeah.
Then we had Ghostwire Tokyo from Tango Gameworks and Bethesda Softworks. From Bethesda. From Shinji Mikami, the team at Tango Gameworks comes Ghostwire Tokyo, a next-gen action-adventure game coming to consoles exclusively for PlayStation 5 in 2021. Tango Gameworks has taken full advantage of the PS5's next-gen hardware to create stunning, immersive, and mysterious world to explore. Explore the streets of a city filled with spirits and mysterious otherworldly threats with an arsenal of powerful abilities at your combat. We had Godfall from Counterplay Games. You are the last of the Valorian Knights, godlike warriors able to equip Valor Plates, legendary armor sets that transform wielders into unstoppable masters of melee combat. Players will tear through foes as they climb through some of the elemental realms. We're still hard at work and can't wait for players to experience Godfall when it makes its console debut on PS5 and PC this holiday season. That one, from what I understand, is it's basically like, I think they call it a looter slasher. So it's basically similar to Borderlands, but it's all melee combat instead of gun combat, which, I mean, sounds interesting. I could be wrong, but I want to say this game might be free to play. I have no idea. Don't quote me on that. But then we have Project Athia from Square Enix and Luminous Productions. Project Athia is the culmination of our philosophy here at Luminous Productions to create completely new and fresh gameplay experiences that fuse together the latest technologies with art. With the PS5, our vision truly comes to life, and with Project Athia, players can look forward to being transported to a vast and detailed world filled with beauty and dismay. Then we had Hitman 3 from IO Interactive. Hitman 3 is the dramatic conclusion to the World of Assassination trilogy and will put you back into the shoes and stylish suit of Agent 47, a ruthless professional assassin who must take on the most important contracts of his career. NBA 2K21, 2K Sports stopped by to give us an eye-popping first look at pre-alpha PS5 development footage for NBA 2K21.
3.
I'm going to add in there, the game will not look nearly as good as that alpha showed because they always use dramatic lighting that will never look like that when you're actually on the court playing. Then we had Deathloop from Arcane Studios and Bethesda. With stunning and stylish environments, memorable combat encounters, and the freedom to tackle each mission at any pace and with any approach you choose. This is Arcane like you've never seen it or felt before, built with next-gen in mind. Deathloop is being developed for a new generation of hardware and will launch exclusively on consoles for PS5. That one looks so fucking cool. It's like a first-person shooter where every time you die, you just keep starting over in this loop over and over again. So it's kind of like, I guess the way it'll play out is kind of like you just have to keep like trial and erroring through missions to figure out like if you're doing things the right way or whatever. I don't know. It seems really cool though. Then we had Resident Evil Village from Capcom. The fear of dark corners has been replaced with the anxiety of the unknown as Ethan searches for answers within decrepit buildings among snow-covered trees. The return to the first-person perspective will be a visceral edge to combat, with a greater focus on combat and exploration compared to Resident Evil 7. The village itself is just as important a character as any other, a location with a life of its own that will frequently keep you on edge as you discover its secrets. And then we had Pragmata from Capcom, which also gave us a first look at a thought-provoking game called Pragmata. And then, of course, they ended off the show with showing PS5, the PS5 Digital, the 3D Pulse headset, the media remote, the HD camera, and the DualSense charging station. Which, of course, all have the black and white two-tone design, which looks sexy as fuck, and I'm going to be getting the digital edition once it goes up for pre-order eventually, someday.
I'm ready for the PS5. That's going to be good.
So, I mean,
definitely
overall, between the two conferences, I think they both did quite well. I think, personally, again, not trying to be biased, but for me, PlayStation definitely had the bigger hitters. But again, like, if I was into Halo as much as some people I know are into Halo, that would have been a huge thing for me to see the Halo campaign gameplay. But just like for me, when I saw Spider-Man, I was like, oh fuck, oh shit. Like that's I'm sure that's what Halo did to someone this morning. But for me, that's what Spider-Man and Horizon and Ratchet and Clank did to me for the PS5 event.
Oh, yeah. Right. Not too bad.
So personally, for me, I think PlayStation did better, but I think both had solid showings of both first-party and third-party titles coming to the respective consoles within, I'd say, like, launch window is like the first year and a half, and there's definitely still more things that'll be coming during those time periods. This is just our first taste. I believe the next, like, big gaming announcement event type thing we have coming is, I don't think it's officially announced yet, but there is rumor going around that Sony will be doing another State of Play, like, mid-August.
There you go.
So, at that, I don't know how long it's going to be, but at that I would expect some sort of small gameplay demo for Spider-Man, because it's coming out this holiday season. So that would be the best place to show it, I would think.
Hopefully, right?
And then, I don't really know other than that. Like, probably a couple of new game announcements. I don't know about anything huge. Maybe Call of Duty will show up there. I don't know if that'll be the official announcement for Call of Duty. But
we'll have to see. It's being built from home. So,
yeah.
I don't know what the fuck's going to happen to it, but it'll come out in November, guaranteed, so I'm pumped. But yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that'll be the announcement for Call of Duty. See, I don't know. Well, the new Season 5 for Modern Warfare and Warzone starts August 5th. And there's been all the rumblings about, like, there being Black Ops related things in the files. Granted, that doesn't mean they necessarily will all go live on August 5th. But I could see them, like, maybe announcing the game in Warzone on August 5th, and then being like, hey, check out like the trailer or like the extended trailer during Sony's State of Play or whatever. I don't know. But I'm sure we'll see Call of Duty in some form or fashion there. Whether it'll be announced at the State of Play, I don't know. But I'm sure we'll see that. What else? Do you have any predictions on what we could see at the PlayStation State of Play? Do you think it'll be all focused on PS5 stuff, or do you think we'll see some PS4 stuff mixed in, or?
I think it's PS5 only. It'd be great because PS4 has been out since 2013, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of over it. But I'm hoping it's just PS5 because it's kind of time to keep going forward. I mean, it's cool to think about the PS1, the 2, the 3, the 4, but really, people just want to see the new console. I mean,
yeah. At this point, now that Ghost of Tsushima is out, being the last like big PlayStation 4 game, I think it's all hands on deck for next gen. Like, I'm sure we'll see games that are like, oh, this is coming to PS4 and PS5, but I'm sure we're gonna see the PS5 versions of all these games. It'll just be like, oh, this is coming to PS4 and PS5. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. So I think we'll see that.
So, yeah, and then I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I think Xbox has some other like event planned for the end of August. I don't think that's been announced yet either. I don't know. One last question for you, JP, before we end this episode off. Do you think at that PlayStation 5, at the next State of Play, do you think we'll get price and release date for the console?
I like to hope so, because it's already pretty obvious what it's going to be, but I'd like to actually get a confirmation on that. That'd be really cool, too. So I'm hoping they do say something about it.
Yeah. I mean, going off of, previous generations, normally we get the price and release date at E3, which obviously E3 didn't happen this year, pandemic, everything. But yeah, I think August seems like probably the latest you can go without revealing it. Like, I feel like you have no choice at that point, because at that point you're like 2 to 3 months from launch. So yeah,
exactly right.
So
Miles is really at that point.
I'm gonna make a prediction here, just because, I don't know, I think it'll be a little fun thing. My prediction is that when they announce the release date, I think it'll be Friday, November 13th, and I think the regular PS5 will be I think the regular PS5 will be $500, and I think the regular PS5 will be $599, and then the digital will be $499. I could see it being $499 $499 and $399, but seeing as how powerful this console is, I really think it's going to be $600 and $500.
Yeah, possibly. We'll have to see what happens, though. Yeah, we'll definitely see what happens.
But guys, let us know what you think about these next-gen showcases. I'm definitely excited to see what happens at State of Play and whatnot later on next month. But until next time, guys, this has been Pizza and Pixels, the show where JP and I order pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. It goes live every other Saturday at youtube.com/HexxeedPhenom or on podcast services around the globe, places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, really any podcast service of your choosing. And until next time, guys, another one bites the crust.